What's up, everybody? Welcome to the IOP family. I am your host, Moni-Moni, with a brand new episode. Welcome to the beginning, and don't forget to stay. On today's episode, I have an amazing guest and a great friend of mine, trauma-informed Reiki practitioner, medicine woman, and ceremony facilitator, Jezebel, who is here to talk about Reiki healing and honoring self. Hello. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me in this space.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for being here. So first, tell us a little bit about who Jezebel is.
Yeah, of course. So I was born and raised in the South Bronx. I'm first generation Dominican American. For me, something that I've learned is very important to me is transparency, love, and authenticity. So in my life experience, I've realized that I have not always chosen myself. And I've realized that the moments where I experience the most happiness, the moments where I feel most authentic is really when I'm being myself, when I'm not overthinking about who I'm supposed to be and who I'm supposed to be pleasing and making sure that I'm perceived in the right light. So I've learned throughout the years for me that just showing up as myself is the best thing that I can do. And it's the best version of me that there is. So there's no sense in trying to pretend to be something that I'm not.
Right. 4 values right there. If someone would have told you 5 years ago that you would be here today, what would you say?
Oh, honestly, I probably would have been like, girl, stop it. Because for me, I feel like 5 years ago, I was in a completely different space. I was working a job that was not necessarily like my dream job. It was getting closer to what I wanted to do, which was in healthcare or holistic practices, but I didn't necessarily have my vision aligned yet. So I was working 100-hour weeks and I was working with people who didn't share my vision. So everything was just about, the kind of like New York mentality or the United States mentality where everything is just go, go, go. Instead of really taking some time to myself and asking myself, like, what do I need? What is it that I want to do in the future? Am I doing this because I'm driven by money, or am I actually motivated by the work that I'm trying to do? So 5 years ago, me versus who I am today, I'm still me, but I'm a more learned me, I would say. I've learned so much over the years. So I'm just grateful for the lessons.
Yes. Man, I love that. I'm a learned me, and that, I think that's something that's truly important is that, people tend to think that we don't evolve or, certain situations, everyone goes through a lot of things, right? But certain situations, to be able to look back and be like, wow, I evolved so much, and be proud of your journey, because I think that's something that people don't really appreciate much is the journey, right? And we just look on it like it's our past, like it's dreadful, or, we probably sometimes even have like a negative outtake on it, but the reality is it's actually beautiful. It's actually beautiful to be able to be in one spot and look back and see how much you've evolved. And that's, man, no one can say your journey, talk about your journey, only you understand how your journey goes, right? So always stay open to what you're learning and evolving about. So yes. So talking about journeys, what pushed you to embark on this journey? What was your big aha moment? What made you say, this is what I'm going to do? And do you ever look back on those moments?
All the time, honestly. I think for me, my aha moment was initially just, getting out of a long-term relationship and not necessarily making the best choices for myself and not aligning myself who share my vision, like I said earlier. So for me, first step was really just like surrounding myself around who my new community was going to be. So who are the individuals who think the way that I do? Who are the individuals who make me feel good, who don't shame me for being honest about myself and what my needs are and my boundaries? So it really began with just focusing on how I feel around other people, how I feel around certain environments. So what really propelled me on this journey was I had experienced my first Reiki session because I had gotten to a point where I just felt like I didn't know what this vibration was that I was feeling, but I could feel it like on the surface of my skin. And I was like, I need a healer. And I don't know what that means yet. I know somebody who's able to provide these services. So once I experienced that Reiki session, for me, it was just like, where have you been? Where has the healing been? So it was just really eye-opening for me to know that I was able to feel anything other than distress, anything other than this fight or flight response. So I'm just really grateful to the community for showing up and being present and always being available when I need them to be.
Right. I know how I felt with my first Reiki session for sure. I remember I didn't know which direction my life was going to go, right? And I was just so depressed. It just felt so hard. I think it's because I internalized a lot of things. And what people don't realize is that when you internalize a lot of things, it starts to build up, and even in my case, like I could sit and stare at a wall for hours, and that was just where, my life was passing by me. So when I first actually went to my first Reiki healer, I actually stumbled walking in, and, she was in the middle of a session and everything. And she was just like, and I actually had gone with my aunt. We both went because I think that day actually we quit our jobs because we were working at the same place. Yeah.
Not playing.
Yeah. I just remember actually going in, we were like, what are we doing? No, no, we don't want to be here anymore. Mm-hmm. So we actually quit our jobs, and then we didn't know what we were looking for. We just drove around. We went to this water park. I mean, we didn't know what we were looking for. And, that feeling that something we needed to take care of something, and we just didn't know what it was. We didn't have a good understanding. So we stumbled upon a Reiki healer. I mean, we actually went to multiple, but we tested the energy and we didn't like it. So when we found this one, we actually stepped in, and we were like, I actually stumbled in. And I was like, oh my God. And she was just like, oh, just sit, don't worry. I mean, we ended up staying there for 7 hours, and she didn't even charge us for being there, at all. It was just one of those. So my first experience was really whoa, okay, I'm like, okay, so this is something, that I definitely need to see. And I think that's why I've been drawn to it, as well as just kind of understanding what I went through. And of course, I feel like most Reiki healers go and they don't know what's out there until they actually go and stumble upon it, right? And so, since, most people don't know if this is something they want to look into or not, what should they consider if they are looking to pursue this similar journey? We want to know the true knit and grit here, because your journey is your journey. So what can you tell the next person?
Yeah, so similar to your journey, I would advise the community to just really connect with themselves and really ask them, what am I needing? What can my healer offer me? Literally envision, not physically, but envision what it is that you need from your healer. Do you need somebody who's nurturing? Do you need somebody who's going to keep it a buck with you? Do you need somebody who is going to guide you in a certain way that works for you? So even in the way that you were driven to a water park before you ended up in that Reiki session is really beautiful, because what people don't realize is that the elements are speaking to us every day. So the emotion in the body is held by your sacral chakra, which is ruled by water. So that could be your body's way of being drawn to the water to ask yourself, where do my emotions need to go? What am I feeling? What do I need to pull into myself and release out of my body in order to really integrate this new part of my life, which is healing. So a lot of healing is really just learning about yourself, figuring out what works for you, releasing what you no longer need, and into for you. So asking yourself what it is that you need, what can this healer bring to you? Are they being authentic? Are they doing this work for you? How do you feel when the vibe comes in the way that you had said that first healer was not for you and you knew that? So the vibe is very important. So that's all vibration or frequency. So how do you feel in that space? Are you triggered? Do you feel safe? So those are things that one should definitely consider, and always follow your intuition. No one's gonna know you better than you. So don't be like, oh, am I bugging? Should I leave, or should I, show up anyways just because I've already paid for this space? No, follow your gut, because there are plenty of people who have been played by healers, people who perceive themselves to be healers, but in actuality, they have ulterior motives. So always follow your instincts.
Yes, listen to those instincts, because they speak. Sometimes it's almost way too clear, right? And I think what people don't understand is just you got to understand, whatever you put out there, it comes back. Mm-hmm. So think of it like this. If you've seen all your life very negative, for example, you speak negative out there, then later you're wondering why all these events are happening, right? Because it comes back. But once you start saying, instead of I'm sick, say I'm healing, code words like that actually whole process. It may not be right then and there, but divine timing is a thing, So when you need that healing, it's going to come towards you. saw life negatively. You know, I endured a lot of the things that people self-reflected themselves onto me. You know, I kind of took that in, and I think that's one thing we got to understand is we have to learn what is our own power, you know, and really push that through. Give ourselves that voice. I think a lot of us grew up where it was shh, be quiet, shh, be quiet. Shh, be quiet, you know? And, you know, I don't know who needs to hear this message. For some reason, it's flowing the way it's flowing, you know, but, you know, spark up that voice within yourself. Give yourself the same respect that you give others. You know, we were taught to always give respect to our elders and people of authority. We'll learn to give respect back to yourself. And the minute you do that, you know, you may feel like the world is crashing down because you're going to gain insight to whatever wasn't working into your life. And a lot of people take that as in, oh my gosh, my life is crazy. But really, it's just universe telling you, showing you why certain people, places, or things aren't meant to be in your life. You know, you said you want to heal. Guess what? Okay, you need to get rid of this, and this. And sometimes it's hard, you know. I saw a picture where, you know, someone was giving someone a little girl was holding on to a little teddy bear, and, you know, but there's this big teddy bear waiting for her. You know, it's like hard to let go of those things, but we have to for ourselves. I know Reiki is definitely a beautiful way of healing, because it is vibrational and uses frequencies, you know, and I think people have to be ready to go from AM to FM. You know, it's like a radio station. You got to go find your frequency, you know, and you got to switch channels, and you got to go and discover who you are, you know, because sometimes we come out of the womb knowing exactly what feels good for us, and emotions truly don't exist. I think it's more of a feeling, right? If something feels good, you're going to go towards it. If something feels bad, you're going to, you know, repel from it. And I think if you're looking to start this journey, understand what feels good and what doesn't. Right? What's in your frequency that you can say, this is where I feel like I'm at, you know, and sometimes you got to hear it from 5 different Reiki healers to know which one is actually in your frequency, you know? So I say, go do your research within yourself, do your research around your environment, what you have around your environment, and then go do your research on where you can start a good, healthy practice. So
100%. And I'm really glad that you brought that up, because that makes me think of boundaries and how maybe certain people don't practice like actually like sitting in their boundaries enough, letting people know when they feel uncomfortable, saying no in certain cases. Hey, do you want to go to the mall? And in reality, you already had your whole day planned. You wanted to be a hermit crab. You wanted to meditate. You wanted to do whatever your self-care practice was. So it's like, what's forcing you? Like, why are you not choosing yourself? It is okay for you to take that time to spend time with yourself and get to know yourself, how you said. So not being afraid to use your voice and use your throat chakra, because when you start to deny those parts of yourself, then it starts to show up in the physical body, whether it's a sore throat, or you start to experience more cramps, or you tend to experience more headaches. So things that you ignore in the ethereal body show up in the physical body if you continue always listening to those small cues in the body, and recognizing when you're going against yourself, when you're choosing other people, when are you people pleasing. So just being really mindful about that connection to self, and ask yourself, am I worth it? Always. So why are you not choosing yourself?
Yes. Yes, you are worth it. You know, you are worthy of choosing yourself, you know, and a lot of people think, oh, that's selfish. No, it's selfless. You already do a lot of things for other people selfless. Why can't you do that for yourself? When is it yourself? You chose to come in your vessel. You chose to be who you are. Everything about you chose. So give yourself that. And, you know, so I do want to ask, you know, so now that the listener is, you know, this person is whoever's out there, you're ready to take the next step. You've accepted that this is something you want to do. What can you say is the first steps that they should look into after they've accepted that this is what they wanted to do?
Yeah. So after you already decided, hey, I want this life and this is for me, and I really want to integrate this and share my skills or share my offerings to the community, it's really just about losing that fear and putting yourself out there, I would say. So just start connecting to other like-minded individuals. So whether it's a other healers or other Reiki practitioners or other podcasters, whatever your flavor is, start finding your community, because once you start finding your community, you can start seeing yourself as that individual that you may have only ever seen in your visions, in your dreams, on your vision board. So now you're seeing yourself as part of the community, not somebody who's just receiving the information or just taking the time to, read books and educate yourself about it, but are you applying it? So I find that even in my experience, a lot of us are guilty of, doing the research and trying to make sure that we're educated and making sure that we have all the practices down. But it's like, okay, but are you doing it? Like,
right.
At some point, you have to just kind of like get up and do it. Do it scared. Do it without support if you don't have any, because at the end of the day, like, you got your own back, and if you find your community, which you will, they will support you. So just get out there, find your community, and do your thing.
Yes. And always understand that, okay, you find your community, then you'll know exactly what to do next. One way or another, once you're ready, you're going to be guided towards what is meant for you to pursue. So here we've learned to get real with ourselves, right? Get real with the fact that we may have to let certain people go, people, places, things, we have to let certain things go, right? And then we need to understand who we are. Fight for ourselves, really. Figure out who you are, what you want to do, what you're guided to, right? And once you choose yourself, find those who are in your same frequency. So there you go with any little radio station. Go from the AM to the FMs, and go click until we find one that we're comfortable with, right? That plays the music that we like. This is something you want to do. I promise you, the people who are meant to help teach you and guide you, because all they really could do is guide you, right? Teachers, you are your teacher, because you're going to accept and you're going to learn, and what you learn, you're going to reflect, right? But find that person or place or thing that's going to help you reflect on what you truly want to be, right? Surround yourself with like-minded people or souls or energy that's going to help you really push forward. And after that, the rest is history, because you will be able to pave your own path.
Exactly.
True or not true, Jezebel?
That's facts. That's 100% true. Like, even when you go back to, being afraid of letting go, that's something that I think a lot of us struggle with, because we're so used to what we're used to. But it's like, we're literally built to adapt. Humans are built to continuously evolve. So if we are continuing to stay in that position of comfort, then are we really growing for ourselves? Like, think about even plants, they face adversities every day. The waters are always changing, always shifting. So if they can adapt the way that nature intended them to, then we also have to realize that we are also part of the elements, and we're also meant to adapt. So that thing that we're afraid of, the thing that we're so afraid to let go of, those things are no longer for us. And even if it is, it can be for us in a different way. So how do we change the script? How do we make that cater to us, to our needs, to our community's needs? So don't be afraid to let go of the little teddy bear like you were mentioning earlier, and to find that big teddy bear, because as long as you have faith in yourself and what you're offering to the community and yourself, you cannot go wrong.
You really can't. There is no wrong,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something a lot of people are afraid of, is how they're judged or, being told you're wrong. No, understand that everybody's journey is different. Yeah. Everyone perceives differently. Mm-hmm. That's why we all don't have the same eyes, That's why we all see the world in different aspects, because who cares what anybody says, And if you need assurance and reinforcements, let us know. We'll root you on.
Exactly. The community is always here to support. And as far as what you were saying about, that vision that not everybody may be in alignment with you, that's really beautiful what you said, because not everybody is going to see your vision, and people are going to think like, oh, she's bugging, she's weird, she's a little crazy, or whatever the case. But you should not be concerned about their perception of you. Your perception of yourself is going to be the most important. Are you being authentic? And if you're being authentic, then, what does it really matter what people are thinking about you? And not everything that you receive, whether it's downloads or a vision or however it comes to you, you don't need to share every little bit of your life. You have a right to remain to yourself and to share those parts with yourself, with your loved ones. So not everything is for you to share to the community. So being mindful of what your comfort zone is, what's to share, and what's for you.
Exactly. So Jezebel, tell us, what is next? Do we have anything to look forward to?
Yes, of course. So this month in April, I'm offering Kambo ceremonies and also Reiki sessions for those who are ready to answer the call. And I have group ceremonies available as well as private ceremonies for Kambo. And for the Reiki sessions, those are going to be private sessions, depending on what kind of healing you're looking into. But typically the sessions are about 2 hours. So you can feel free to look me up. Miss Moni is going to provide the details in a little bit, or we'll get into it in a little bit. But yes, we do have options available for the community.
That's right. You heard it here first, initiating the opulence at its finest. So tell everyone where they can find you.
Yes, of course. So I do have a location available in Manhattan. We're over in the Flatiron District. So if you've ever heard of floating, you can definitely visit our space. It's called Holos NYC. So we're located over on 23rd Street. And I also serve the Bronx community, which is where I'm from. So I'm always down for the community. I normally host ceremonies over at the Bronx Witch over on Grand Concourse. So you could either look my locations up over in those areas, or you can look me up on Instagram at Cloud9JunkieFro if you have any specific questions or are looking for more information.
Absolutely. And of course, all links will be in the description box below. Well, Jezebel, thank you so much for joining the show and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely. And for my IOP family, thank you for listening. And don't forget to subscribe on all of our platforms. Ciao. Hasta la próxima. Bye.